Mike, tell us a little bit about the fact that you received a buyout and your employment was terminated, and how much money that was, and what happened to it, and why it caused you to be so depressed to the point that you thought about taking your own life.
Well, in 2005, I decided to take the buyout. I didn't see that there was going to be a future in that particular area, and I took a lump sum of $100,000. It came down to about 72 and change. Right away, I found ways to just think I would just spend it, and there'd always be the money there. And I got with some wrong people. Basically, I was running with the devil. I was not relying on Christ to guide me. There was people put in my life that would have helped me with the money. So basically, in a 9-month period, I depleted $72,000. And again, I was with the wrong people who were more than willing to take it from me. And it never crossed my mind to give it to the Lord. And also the fact that I had taken it to the Lord as far as salvation was concerned in 1980, I believe 82 or 83. I was a saved Christian, but I did not walk the walk.
Mike, tell us, if you can, briefly about the events that led up to your incarceration, starting.
The events that led up to my incarceration was a week prior. I had pretty much went through all of my disposable cash and food, and then it went into a deep depression and not really knowing what to do next. I did not depend on the Lord. I just thought I could fix it myself, and it wasn't working. And I did attempt to take my life on, I believe, the 2nd of November. And then on the next day, the 3rd, I woke up and the Lord basically said, "You've got more work to do. It's not your time." And I really went into prayer, but I still did not turn it to the Lord and say, I need you to help me. I need you to fix this. Again, I tried to think I could have the remedy to fix it. And I went on the following Friday and walked into one of the local banks and asked for $5,000 and said I was sorry, and went out. And then I was arrested a while later and spent 9 months in the Oakland County Jail.
Mike, at what point during your incarceration, after you robbed the bank, did you come to realize, and how did you come to realize, that what was happening to you as far as your incarceration was involved was not necessarily punishment, but God's discipline, and that God loved you so much that He wanted to give you a timeout, so to speak, so that you could go closer to Him? How did that come about? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I first entered the jail, I was put in a holding tank for 3 or 4 days. I'd never been incarcerated before, and it didn't take long for God to touch me as far as guidance. First person I met was a gentleman by the name of Marcus Merrill, who was a great Christian man, and he saw me at my worst, and he immediately fueled information and literature for me to start reestablishing my relationship with Christ. And through the period of time, I was put on with some great individuals that the Lord put in my life to continue the walk and continue to give me information for when I would come out of jail. And during the 9-month period, I was blessed to be able to work an 8-hour shift a day, and I was given many privileges that a lot of the other inmates were not given. So the Lord touched me in many ways during my incarceration in the 9 months, which again was a blessing, because the probation department gave me a minimum sentence of 1 year, and I was able to, through good time, get out in a 9-month period without having a bill. So God's grace and His guidance were there, and I continued to work at it through John Middlestat in the chaplain's department, and a few others that would come to see me. So I was very blessed, and I came out of the experience with an established, I'm trying to think of the word, an established strength from the Lord.
Mike, if you can, tell us about the materials you received from the chaplain's office, and how they affected your life both then and now. What was it, or was it not a real blessing to have that material available to you while you were incarcerated? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I first started to use the kite system in the jail, I was responded to immediately, and I requested on the communication system that I would like a Bible. So there were different Bibles that became available for me, study Bibles and Good News Bibles, just a really excellent study material. And there also was a study Bible that the chaplain department also provided me with, as well as literature that would help me in my recovery, to go to certain places in the Bible to be able to study and strengthen my walk, and to help me in the prayer process, and really strengthen myself through Christ. So that was really such a big help. And there was also resources that would come from the chaplain department and my worker, who was Marcus, that he would supply me with. Between John and Marcus, they would supply me with a lot of details and resources for when I got out, which gave me a lot of extra hope that I could be able to, when I got out, to be able to hit the street running and be able to get things in category.
Mike, tell us a little bit about how your outlook has changed now that you've accepted Christ, and 4 years after your incarceration, what your main goal today is, as opposed to what it was before you were introduced to the Christian life.
Just starting out on that particular subject, in 81 or 82, I was standing between two I-beams. I was an iron worker at the time, and I accepted Christ into my life at that time, and the people that I had in my life at that time were really working with me to understand the Bible, but I wasn't serious at that point. And they say that something drastic has to happen in someone's life on occasion for them to subsequently hit bottom, and then the non-believer will say, the cynic will say, well, he had something drastic happen, so that's the only reason. But in my case, I had accepted Christ into my life at a point, and when this all happened, and the Lord saved me, and I was given the mercy of the court, and then reestablishing my relationship with Christ, I had an enthusiasm and a willing in my heart to be so appreciative of all the things the Lord has done. And keeping in mind, I give all the praise and glory to our Father in heaven, and Jesus has been incredible in my life. And my goals after the incarceration are that I want to be there and be helpful in the ministry and be a positive, because you never know when you can lead a life to Jesus.